Hi, welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm your host, Ed Smith. This Sunday morning, we're going to take a look at a draft that is in the final stages and almost completing as a startup veteran draft with the kickers as replacements for the rookie draft order. So the rookies are being picked in this veteran startup draft, but we don't know who those rookies are going to be. It's just draft spots that we're picking in the spot where will signify the order. And so that's a kind of an item. I have the link to the draft board in the chat, but wanted to kind of go through what my thoughts are, why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's of course a super flex league. It's very standard as far as the positions, if you will, with one quarterback, one super flex, a couple running backs, three receivers, and one tight end. So, and then a couple flex spots. So, that's very standard in these types of leagues of what the scoring and the scoring seems very similar to that. So nothing exotic as far as scoring goes. And my initial thought when I came into this draft was I wanted to be young. Um, Really, as you'll hear me say many times when I do a startup draft, I try not to do a whole lot of these each year because I don't want a lot of rebuilds, if you will. But not looking to win in year one, looking to be young in year one, see how the team develops, see what the team becomes, and be poised to win year two, but really more importantly year three. So taking players that I think in 2024 have a really good shot to be peaking in value, and I'll know if they are. And so that was the theory with the picks that I make. So if you got, I guess I always say add 2 years to the player in age, and what's that player's age, and does it make sense at that point then with what we have? And so the first pick in this draft was actually Justin Herbert, picked the 101. So that's how it started. Just some more feedback. We went five quarterbacks in a row. So with Josh Allen, Mahomes, Murray, and Burrow, if you're following along, you just kind of see what happened there. Then the running back and receiver room started, and I was picking out of the 9 spot here with a snake draft, and I took Lamar Jackson. Wanted to be in the quarterback business, didn't want that to get too far out in front of me and have no quarterback to build. I found that you can wait till 10 and hit it hard. I mean, I do that sometimes, but thought that building with a key piece, here at quarterback with this kind of strategy was going to at least at minimum, hold. I mean, it's possible Lamar Jackson will be out of the league in 2 years, but I think it's also possible that he's still going to have the rushing upside as a quarterback in 2 years and still be a foundational piece that I won't look back and be like, what was I thinking with that draft pick? Which, you could do with some other positions, if you will. Now, back with the 204, I opted to go with Javonte Williams, who was the youngest running back in the NFL of the starting running backs last year. And so he'll be 22 this year playing, and he'll be 24 in 2 years in 2024 playing. So I feel like he was a young piece that made some sense. And then when we got to the third round, I noticed that the rookie 101 is still on the board. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the 101. At least now I control how the rookie draft is going to go. And so I have a young running back, which I think could be a top five, and I have what I think could be a top five quarterback. So now I have the 101 rookie, which now allows me to control the rookie draft. And so I then came back and said, okay, this is working out well. So the blueprint coming in, you have to be willing to change it a little bit based on what falls. I still think that if value falls, so you have to take the value. You can't just say, oh, everybody's a value at a certain price. So sometimes players go, if I would have gotten to this pick and let's say I see like Alvin Kamara already went, and or a player that I really thought I could get more than the 101 for, I would have taken it. But the guys that were going after the 101 were guys like Devonta Smith, Matt Stafford. I debated Dalvin Cook really, but I thought, you know what, I already have this young running back. Having an old running back is another piece to move, and I think I can control the draft better with 101 than I can Dalvin Cook. Now, I would take Christian McCaffrey over the 101. So if he would have fell, for instance, I would have taken him. Now he was gone before my second round pick, so it wasn't there. But I guess I kind of look at that and say, if the 101 is if there would have been players there, but players like Pitts were gone, and Deshaun Watson was already gone. So the 101 was after those guys. Tyreek, Waddle, Andrews are already off the board, and the 101 is still there. So that was my theory: is what do we get? And then on the way back, I also liked Antonio Gibson's age. So now I have two running backs that are young, and I decided to go that direction and have a running back that I still look at age 23. In 2 years, he's 25 now. Yeah, tail end of the age, but really waiting for him to make that step forward. And so I thought at that draft capital, I could have taken 102 as well, but I thought, maybe I'm the only guy that likes the rookie picks, so I kind of wanted to see where they would go. Like none went from my 101, and I thought, I'm gonna take another running back, and I have 101. I'm gonna just kind of watch and see if there's a run on them, see what happens. Well, before I picked again after the Gibson pick, it was the long term, so I had to go the whole way to the front and then the whole way to the back. So, that's 16 picks, and two rookie picks went. So number 2, number 3 went off the board, and guys like Henry, which didn't fit my build, Akers did fit the build, Eli Moore did fit the build, and that kind of thing. So I decided, I'm gonna hit some rookie picks. So I actually got the 4, 5 on this turn, and no more went, but guys like Kirk Cousins are going, and so they're valued higher. Zeke Elliott, Calvin Ridley, those guys are all going, in that turn when I'm taking the 4th and the 5th rookie pick. So now I'm sitting with 101, 104, 105, and I'm saying, okay, I'm controlling this first round of rookies, and I have Javonte Williams, and I have Antonio Gibson, and I still have a quarterback that I can build around. So I'm not totally in a bad spot. And then when we came back, there was still a couple rookie picks taken again. So now I'm at the 8th spot, and I take it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that. That's better than Michael Thomas and not knowing about Judy. I didn't know about the trade yet with Russell Wilson, and didn't know Hollywood in a career year or in a contract year. I get it. He might be okay. Hunter Renfro, Carter, Mooney. It just didn't feel like passing on that 108 might be some value, especially with what I hold. So now I've got 4 of the top 8 picks, and I guess now I'm feeling like, okay, half of the first 8 I control. So again, I'm in a control spot, which maybe I can turn them into 2023 or 2024 first round picks when I'm looking to win and multiply what I have. So we'll see where they go, but I might be able to multiply that into more capital for when I'm ready to win, understanding I'm not going to win this year, just not going to win this year. And then on the way back through, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was there, and I thought, you know what, that gives me a 3rd young running back. So now I'm turning into having flex running backs that are 22 years old, and so it made sense for me there. On the way back through to just say, okay, I don't really need the 9th pick, and don't need another rookie pick as much as having a young running back that was the 101 back in 2020. Like he was the 101, and we haven't seen very much of him, but I guess I'm convinced that maybe it takes a little bit of time sometimes. Now, Kareem Hunt didn't take long to get involved in the Andy Reid offense, but it has taken guys a little bit of time to get integrated in sometimes with what they are. And so, some injuries, some nagging stuff, and so we still could see. I mean, he was 22 years old, so we're still talking about a very young player. So, putting the fast forwards to it, to him being a 24-year-old in 2 years, it might be a player that we can utilize as well. Coming back through, I decided that, having a second quarterback, and I was looking at who's gone off the board, and tons of things have gone off the board by this point. Davis Mills and Daniel Jones and Tannehill, they're all gone. And so I do see Baker Mayfield as maybe the last starting legitimate that I was pretty sure he'd start somewhere. I don't think Cleveland's going to give up on him quite yet. If they trade him, I think he'll still be a starter. So felt pretty good about that. And then after him, Jordan Love went off the board. So I knew that I was picking at the right spot to get Mayfield just over Love and just over some rookie picks. And so then I came back and hammered rookie pick again and got the 12th pick. So got my 5th pick in the first round at this point. And so I've got 5 first round rookie picks and 5 of the top 12. Feel like I can really control that. And again, so still don't have any receivers yet. But if we look at the class of people in this year's draft, I feel like there's a deep receiver class. So by having all the rookie picks I have, if worst case scenario is I fall in and get a whole bunch of 20-year-old receivers that can grow into something in a couple years, that's the worst thing that happens to me this year if I don't control something. So I felt pretty good. Then with the next swings, I really decided, I'm going to stay on my theme of monopolizing quarterbacks. So what Jimmy G and Jameis Winston, both of which I think are starters in the NFL this year. Now maybe not long term, but I think they're going to start in 2022. And so now we just start doing math. I have four. Four. If every team had four, that would be 48. We only have 32 teams. So I'm ahead of the numbers as far as just the mathematics of how many quarterbacks I have in a position that's controlled to 32 players scoring points on a given week, unless you want to put Taysom Hill in the quarterback spot as like his receiver eligible kind of situation, or maybe Mariota I guess comes in, or Brissett comes in for their one play kind of deals. And if you want to start them, I guess you count them, get us to 35, but still I've multiplied out. I'm at 48 with those four, without anything else happening, without injuries, without anything. I'm in a pretty spot. Well, so now we're down to pick 13 in the 13th round. I haven't made any trades. I'm just kind of taking what's going. I see trades flying around, but nothing that I can put my hand on that I feel like it's going to make me better. So I'm just kind of watching how they are and figure I'll use those as leverage tools for people down the line, and kind of let them trade around and kind of, I don't want to say it, but mess up the team maybe a little bit. Some will mess it up, some will gain some, and I'll try to let the separation occur while I'm just monopolizing positions. So I follow in, and I'm trying to stay really young, and I decide, okay, I'm going to throw some darts at receiver, like I'd be throwing draft picks, because now we're into really the second round of rookies, and I think sometimes it's better to know what you know than have rookies you don't know. And so even though maybe some of these guys that are 25 will be 27, it's not the end of the world if they really get a good situation, and maybe they get into a good contract situation or have some good years, and I can trade them at the top of the value. I mean, if I have a guy like Cooper Kupp right now, I can move on from him, and he's, I might have drafted him in the 10th round, but now he's the second round pick, and I can move the profit and cash in on the profit. So I decided to go Christian Kirk, Nico Collins, who have the chance in my mind to start somewhere and be a number one. Maybe not Kirk so much, but definitely Nico Collins can be the number one in the Texans organization without too much luck. Then I circled back and took some draft picks as well right after that, and got the 22nd pick, which is near the end of the second round, obviously, and the 25th pick, which is the 301, because two picks went in the middle there in that short turn. And I thought, okay, now I'm kind of sitting with 7 picks out of 25, top 25 picks. I got 7 of them. So again, I'm controlling the draft. It was all basically a control piece. This draft is only going to be 36 picks long, and I at that point decided that I don't need the rest of those picks. I kind of got to where I was. I wanted to have a controlling interest, so I have more than 25% of the first 25 picks, and I have more than, I have 50% of the top 8. I've got, 40% of the top first round. I mean, as you start looking at those percentages, I feel very confident that I'm in a control piece of the draft. And so, and especially of the top kinds of picks, I'm in the control position with all youth. Everybody I have is youth, except for maybe Garoppolo and Winston, but they're completing the monopoly on the quarterback position, so I kind of have that as well. And so then after that, I came in with Donovan Peoples-Jones, who has again the chance to be a number one without a draft pick. He might draft a receiver, and that's fine. But again, he fit the profile of a young guy that could turn into something. Maybe he'll be a nothing. Then Terrence Marshall, again, young guy, don't know what he is. And then Denami Brown, another young guy. You get the theme here. Like, I don't need all these guys to be anything. I need one or two to really materialize and really take off, and we've got 5 of them now. So just one or two, plus the draft picks, 1 or 2. That's all it needs to be. So I don't have to even be right on half of them. Half of these guys could not make the roster, and it's okay. I did the same thing at tight end. Now notice there's not a whole lot of premium to the tight end, so again I stayed really young. I went Tommy Tremble. I saw there was a seam route that he ran, or actually a sideline route that he ran. He ran a 9 route. And it was just an incredible piece, and I know that was under Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator, so I don't know what they'll do this year, but it just was an impressive route, and I gotta think that they're gonna get him the ball more. But I mean, so maybe I'm just over my skis on him. It took him with the 19th round though, so I didn't feel like I was going crazy on my reach, and I was taking him after Troutman, so I didn't let too much go by, and then I also took Granson, who I think has a chance. I don't know what they probably will draft one or sign one in Indy, but I know they like to use the tight end. I know that Jack Doyle retired. I just feel like it maybe, and they used him in the end zone this year. Now they do like to use 17,000 players, so maybe that was just one of that. But again, 21st round, ninth pick, we're throwing darts, really. Let's be honest, we're just throwing darts. And so, maybe one of them turns in. And then I also came back with Parham, and I like him, I think, more than the NFL, but he seems to always do pretty well, and so I have him. So they're all young. If one of the three materializes, then I have something. Let's say one of the three becomes a top 12. That's all that really has to happen for this team to be successful, and we're good. And then I followed in with Zay Jones, and he was better. And if you look at his target share, he was better than maybe the NFL world thinks so. Now, new coaching staff, they might do it all totally different, and so I recognize that. But we still have the same quarterback who's going to throw the same kinds of receivers, and he was really a bona fide X. And there was a reason he was drafted by Buffalo with a high first, I believe it was a first day pick, and there's a reason he came out and had some skills. So he didn't just acquire skills. Like, he was known to have skills, he just never materialized in a scheme. And now getting a chance, and he's starting to materialize, kind of a late bloomer. He could go back into oblivion, but again, at the 23rd, in the 22nd round, it's not a huge gamble. I mean, I'm gambling on a guy that has done it over a guy that hasn't, like Nicole Harry went after him, Dwayne Eskridge after him. Like, I feel like you always have to look at things in context. There's guys going after him that I feel like, those were my options, and I decided that taking a guy that has done it's better than a guy that might do it. Now Tyler Johnson, good pick, is after that, and I maybe to do it again, I might take Ellinger or Rudolph just to have some more quarterback monopolization if they become. But pretty happy with the Zay Jones pick. I actually feel like that's a capable starter that I probably use as a starter of my top three this year, and just kind of ride out and see, kind of have him put up points and offer as a trade bait when he has the big game. If he has a big game, and kind of utilize him in that way. Came back and then decided, okay, now what can turn into future picks? And I thought to myself, well, and a lot of things have gone off the board at this point. So I thought to myself, Andy Dalton is 34. He's old, but would it shock me if he got a starting gig to bridge into a rookie quarterback, if he was kind of this year's version of Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tyrod Taylor? They might be too, but I thought, you know what? No, it wouldn't shock me if somebody signed Dalton to be like a bridge and start for the first couple weeks, and maybe he doesn't have to even be Jimmy Garoppolo, catch lightning, catch fire the whole year. He just needs to start for a couple weeks, and somebody needs to name him as a starter, and they realize, oh crap, it's after the rookie draft, and I don't have any starting quarterbacks. Now he becomes a value, and he fetches me something back. Because remember, we're drafting the third round rookie picks are already gone, so I can't take any of them. And so really, if Andy Dalton can fetch me a second round rookie pick, that's better than anything I could pick at this point. So I'm basically picking players now that I think that it can use for trade bait. Because remember, I'm not really trying to win this year. I'm just trying to have pieces that are tradable for future years. And then the same thing with Dwayne Haskins. I thought, you know what? If they don't, I still believe that Pittsburgh is not going to draft a quarterback. I believe that they're going to bring in a veteran by trade. I think that Jimmy G or Watson or somebody's going to come to town, and I mean, I still think there's some move yet to make in Pittsburgh, because I just think that's the story of franchise. But if let's say they draft, because I know they're very excited about some of the picks that they have, the rookies that there are there, and they bridge it, them offering so the key piece to what tipped me off on Haskins, or why I think that he has value, is that they have compensation wrapped to him as a first round pick. So if you're going to sign Dwayne Haskins away from the Steelers, you'd have to they'd get first round pick compensation in return for it. So they must see something there to kind of link a first round tender to him. So they don't want to lose him for some reason, which then led me to believe that, you know what, maybe there's more to this Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph fight for the job. And he still was a player that just had off the field trouble in Washington. So he might be something. And then I followed through with Agnew just in the late rounds, another receiver dart. And, as we're sitting here recording this, we still have got a couple picks to go. And I'll probably stay in the same vein of, is there any player that I can get trade for future picks? Or is there a player that I can just, it's kind of one of my guys that I'm just throwing darts at to say, okay, does it fit something? Now, the reason I like Agnew is I feel like he was a converted cornerback to receiver, and he's a lightning in a bottle. Maybe Doug Peterson will just say, you know what, yeah, I want to use this guy this year. Like he's my version of Chenault, and he was cheap in my world, and so we're just gonna throw a dart at him and see if he catches lightning in a bottle. And if he's like a Josh Reynolds type, that trades for a third round pick. And remember, I don't have any, can't get a third round pick right now. So, anything I'm picking right now, if it can trade for a third rounder, I'm making money. Like I'm profiting on in the trade market. So that's really what I'm doing right now, is just trying to fill out the roster with tradable pieces. And if they're not tradable, they're cuttable. So there's no investment in pick 27, 28, 29, which I have yet to go, that I'll have. So as we go there, I'd be interested to hear how your drafts are. If you're part of the league, if you're excited for the league draft or the rookie draft, or what you want to do in the rookie draft. I'm not going to give away exactly what the philosophy is in the rookie draft, but you guys kind of get an idea of what the draft looks like and what my version of the draft board is. And it's interesting to watch each team draft and where they are, and trying to work the board a little bit and get some excitement going in the league. But that's my analyzation of this draft and why I did some of what I did, and maybe the philosophy behind. So hopefully you found it interesting. Love to hear your comments. Love to hear hit the like button in the chat, and look forward to coming to you next Sunday. Do want to let you know I have a really exciting announcement next Sunday. We're going to spend the whole session next Sunday on this exciting announcement, and really jazzed up for it. So check us out next Sunday, and then during the week, every day, we're outlining a different team, a different roster build. Let me know in the chat what you guys think on the comments. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, also hit the notification bell so you know when each of these videos gets uploaded to the site. So for now, that's everything. We'll come to you tomorrow morning with another team next Sunday for an exciting announcement, and we'll look forward to talking to you real soon. I'm Ed Smith with the Fantasy Football Clown Show.